My wife vanished after our wedding. Then I found her face on the news. So, I don't even know how to start this. I'm still shaking as I write this because the last 72 hours have been something out of a damn horror movie. My name's Ryan. I'm 29. And up until a few days ago, I thought I had just married the love of my life. Her name is Natalie. We've been together for 3 years. She was smart, kind, stunning. Like the kind of woman you have to pinch yourself every morning to believe she's really yours. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party, and things just clicked. She made me laugh, made me better. And I never once doubted her loyalty. Never once thought she'd ever lie to me. Which is why what happened after our wedding is messing with my head in ways I can't even explain. Let me backtrack for a second. Our wedding was last Saturday. Small, cozy, beautiful. Just close friends and family in this vineyard upstate. We wrote our own vows, cried during them, danced like idiots to 2000s throwbacks, and everything felt perfect. I mean perfect. But the next morning, she was gone. I woke up in our honeymoon suite, rolled over expecting to see her beside me, and instead found nothing but cold sheets. At first, I figured she was grabbing coffee or something. No big deal. But then an hour passed. Then 2. Then 3. I texted. Checked with the front desk. Nothing. No one had seen her leave. Her suitcase? Still there. Her dress, shoes, makeup bag untouched. It was like she vanished in thin air. I tried calling her parents. No answer. Her best friend, voicemail. The weirdest part, none of them were replying to anyone. A few of our guests messaged me asking why Natalie wasn't answering her phone, and I had no answers to give. I reported her missing around 2 p.m. that day. The police took me seriously at first, but after checking hotel cameras, they got weird. Like suddenly cold. They told me she'd left the property at 6:13 a.m. and didn't seem in distress. They even showed me the footage. And yeah, it looked like her. Same hair, same walk, but she was wearing clothes I'd never seen before. Jeans, hoodie, backpack. She didn't look like a bride, she looked like someone running. She never even looked back at the hotel. They brushed it off as a cold feet situation. Said maybe she got overwhelmed. Maybe she'd reach out in a few days. But that didn't make sense. Natalie wasn't that type of person. She'd talk to me. She'd never just disappear like that. And then today, everything changed. I was sitting at home, staring at my phone, still no updates, when a news alert popped up. Woman involved in federal investigation identified, missing since Saturday. I clicked it, not even sure why. And there it was. Her face. Natalie's face. Clear as day. In the center of the article. Only her name wasn't Natalie. It was Mara Jensen. Apparently, she'd been wanted by the FBI for years under that name, for charges including identity theft, wire fraud, and God knows what else. But here's the thing that's really killing me. The last line of the article said this. Mara Jensen is believed to be traveling with an unknown male, possibly an accomplice. An unknown male. And suddenly the police were at my door. When I tell you, my heart dropped. I mean it dropped. I just sat there, staring at the article, reading her fake name over and over again, Mara Jensen, while my brain tried to fight it. Tried to unsee it. Tried to come up with any excuse why the woman I married wasn't some federal fugitive. But it was her. That wasn't up for debate. The photo was only a year old. Same smile. Same dimples. Same green eyes I looked into every morning for 3 damn years. The article even mentioned a birthmark she had on her shoulder, the one she always joked looked like a potato. That's when I heard the knock at my door. 3 sharp knocks. I opened it to see 2 men in suits standing on my porch. One flashed a badge. Mr. Bennett? Ryan Bennett. Yes. We're with the FBI. We need to speak with you about your wife. I didn't even fight it. I just stepped aside and let them in. They weren't aggressive, surprisingly calm, actually, but I could feel them watching every move I made. They sat me down, asked me how I met her, what I knew about her family, her job, her past. I gave them everything. Showed them photos, emails, even the wedding invitation. They listened, took notes, and then one of them, Agent Ramirez, looked me dead in the eye and said, Mr. Bennett, the woman you married is not who she said she was. We've been trying to track her for the past 6 years. She's changed identities multiple times. You're not the first man she's gotten close to. I felt like I got punched in the chest. Apparently, Natalie Mara had a long history of faking relationships, building trust, then disappearing before everything came crashing down. The last guy she was with, she emptied his bank accounts, sold off everything in his name, and left him stranded with over $80,000 in debt. The FBI showed me photos of her with different hairstyles, different names, but it was always her. The same face, the same eyes, the same damn smile. They asked if she ever talked about her childhood. She hadn't. I just figured she didn't have a great one and respected her privacy. They asked if she pushed me to open joint accounts. She did. Thank God I never followed through, because I wanted to wait until after the wedding. That might have saved me. But here's where it gets really weird. They said she never operated alone, that there was always someone helping her. Usually a guy. Someone who stayed in the shadows, who ran interference while she handled the cons. They showed me sketches, rough ones, but I didn't recognize any of them. Then one of the agents pulled out his phone, opened a video. You said she disappeared at 6:13 a.m., right? Yeah. Watch this. He played footage from a nearby gas station. Same morning. Just an hour later. There she was. Natalie, wearing that hoodie, the backpack, and stepping into a black SUV. But she wasn't alone. A man was in the driver's seat, wearing a baseball cap, face mostly hidden. But there was something about the way she looked at him, smiled at him, like they knew each other real well. Too well. I stared at that screen, heart racing, while Agent Ramirez leaned in and said, "We believe that man might be her husband. Her real one." And right there, everything in me cracked. After the agents left, I just sat there for a while, alone in my living room, staring at nothing. There were so many emotions hitting me at once: anger, betrayal, confusion, but mostly just this gnawing, bottomless pit of how could I have been so blind? 3 years. 3 years of memories, holidays, inside jokes, road trips, movie nights, and long talks at 2 a.m. And now I didn't even know her real name. At first, I tried to sit with it, tried to breathe through it. But that lasted maybe 10 minutes before something inside me snapped. I needed to know. I needed to find out who the hell she really was. Not just what the FBI told me. I needed proof. I went into our bedroom. Now, let me say this. She was meticulous. Almost weirdly so. She always cleaned, organized, folded things perfectly. I thought it was cute. Thought she was just a little OCD or something. But now I realized she kept things perfect because she didn't want anything found. I started with her dresser. Nothing. Just the usual socks, underwear, a few of my old hoodies she stole and never returned. Normal stuff. Then I went to the closet. There were two sides, mine and hers. Her side was color-coded, of course. Shoes lined up in perfect rows. But at the very bottom, wedged behind a box labeled winter clothes, was something off. A black duffel bag. One I'd never seen before. My heart was pounding as I pulled it out. It was heavier than I expected. I placed it on the bed, unzipped it, and just stared. Inside were stacks of cash, neatly banded $100 bills, maybe $40,000 or more. A prepaid phone, 2 passports, both with her photo but different names. One said Natalie Harper, the name I knew, and the other said Erica Miles. Birth dates were different. Places of origin, different states. And then, at the very bottom, a flash drive. I hesitated for a second. I knew whatever was on it could mess me up even more. But I plugged it into my laptop anyway. There were only 3 folders. No labels. Just dates. The most recent one, a week before our wedding. Inside were dozens of audio files. All voice memos. I clicked the top one. My stomach turned when I heard her voice. Log 172. May 3rd. Subject seems emotionally stable. Fully invested. I believe I can move forward with the final phase before extraction. Ryan's behavior is predictable. No signs of suspicion. Subject. Final phase. She was tracking me. I clicked another one, dated 2 weeks earlier. Got him to open up about his parents. He's more vulnerable when he talks about childhood. Uses humor to deflect pain. Classic traits. Makes him easier to manage. My jaw clenched. I had no idea I was being studied like a damn science project. But it was the last recording that made me freeze. Tomorrow's the big day. Phase 3. I know I'm not supposed to feel anything, but God, he's kind. He's not like the others. Sometimes I think about just stopping. Staying. But then I remember what happens if I don't deliver. Deliver? Deliver what? And to who? That's when my phone vibrated. Unknown number. Just one message. You shouldn't have opened the bag. I swear to God, my heart almost stopped. I ran to the window. Looked outside. Nothing. Then another ping. They're coming. I didn't know who they were. But I knew one thing. This wasn't just a con job anymore. Whatever Natalie or Mara or Erica was involved in, it was way, way bigger than the FBI was letting on. I packed a bag in under 5 minutes. I didn't even think. I just moved. Threw in some clothes, grabbed the cash from the duffel, the prepaid phone, the flash drive, and left. I didn't lock the door. Didn't leave a note. I just drove. I had no destination, just one goal. Stay alive long enough to figure out what the hell was going on. Because someone out there knew I'd opened that bag. Someone was watching me. And if Natalie or Mara was afraid of what would happen if she didn't deliver, then I couldn't afford to sit around and wait. I ended up at a crappy motel about 2 hours outside the city. Paid in cash. Used a fake name. Parked out back. My nerves were fried, but the need to understand was stronger than my fear. So I plugged in the flash drive again. I hadn't noticed it before, but there was a fourth folder. Hidden. Encrypted. Took me a while, but eventually I cracked it using a password she used for an old streaming service. Yeah, that easy. Her little slip-up. Inside the folder, a single PDF file. Oasis Operations, Report 7B. It wasn't just a con. It was a program. This thing was 43 pages long, full of redacted names, code words, timestamps, surveillance reports. It read like a spy novel. Only this wasn't fiction. This was my life. There were reports of me going back months. Photos of me at work, at the gym, at my mom's birthday. Notes on who I talked to, what I ate, how I responded to stress. Even a psychological profile. The final page had one sentence burned into my brain. Target emotionally stabilized and ready for retrieval. Final asset delivery scheduled for June 2nd. What the hell was asset delivery? What was I being delivered to? That's when it hit me. June 2nd. That was supposed to be our honeymoon departure date. The day we were flying to Belize. She wasn't running from me. She was running with something. And maybe that something was me. I kept flipping through the files until I found a buried link to a private cloud server. It needed a password. I tried the same one, didn't work. Then I tried our anniversary. Still nothing. And then I remembered that voicemail I saved. From our second date. She left it when I fell asleep on the couch. Said, if I ever disappear, just remember the name of the first song we danced to. I typed it in yellow lights. It opened. And I swear to God, I wish it hadn't. There were videos. Dozens of them. Not just of me, but of others. Men, women, even kids. All of them filmed in secret. Living normal lives. Until they were taken. Each video had a label, Oasis Subject, Case ID. And then, I saw my own face. Case ID Oasis 6. My stomach turned. I wasn't her husband. I was her assignment. That's when someone knocked on the motel door. Not a knock like a neighbor asking for sugar. A heavy, deliberate knock. 3 times. Same pattern as the agents. But I hadn't told anyone where I was. I peeked through the curtain, black SUV. Tinted windows. Same type from the gas station video. No flashing lights. No badges. Just silence. I grabbed the duffel. The drive. The phone. Slipped out the back, hard hammering. Got into my car and drove like hell. And as I pulled onto the highway, I checked the prepaid phone. One new message. Ryan, stop running. We don't want to hurt you. We just want her. You're in over your head. Come in now, and we'll let you walk away. I stared at the message for a long time. And then another text came in, this one from a number I thought was disconnected. Don't believe them. And Natalie. She was still out there. I didn't respond to either message. Not the one from the agents, or whoever was pretending to be them, and not the one from Natalie. I just drove, running on fumes in fear. That message from her, though, that shook me. She was alive. She was watching. And if she sent that message, it meant she knew I found the files. Knew I knew the truth. Or at least part of it. But what truth? That I was a target? That she faked everything? Or that maybe, just maybe, there was more to this than a con? I needed answers. And the only person who had them was her. The prepaid phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a text. It was coordinates. Just that. A single pin dropped somewhere deep in the woods outside a town I'd never heard of. I should have ignored it. But I went. It took hours. Back roads. No lights. Sketchy gas stations. By the time I got there, it was pitch black. Just trees. Silence. And a small cabin lit from inside. She was waiting on the porch. Same face. Same eyes. But different now. She wasn't pretending anymore. No smiles. No soft voice. Just her. She didn't run when she saw me. Just stood there, arms crossed, like she'd been expecting me all her life. I walked up slow. Mara? Natalie? Erica? Whatever your name is. It's Elena, she said. That's my real name. She opened the door. I followed. Inside, the place looked like a safe house. Gear, maps, files. One wall had photos of people with red X's through them. Another had a full-blown diagram of something labeled Oasis Control. What is this? I asked. She sat down. Looked me in the eye. Oasis isn't a scam. It's not a con. It's a program. Government funded at first, then hijacked. Private investors. People who want control. They build profiles. Emotional blueprints. Then they assign handlers to each subject. Subjects like me, I said. She nodded. People they can manipulate. People who are smart, independent, but emotionally isolated. People they can groom. Got. And then deploy. I shook my head. Deploy where? That was your honeymoon, she said quietly. They were going to put something in you. A micro-implant. Not to track you, to use you. You be a carrier. A test case. I stared at her, stomach twisting. That's why I ran, she continued. Because I fell for you. And that wasn't supposed to happen. I wanted to scream, to cry, to throw something. But I just stood there, frozen. You were going to let them do that to me? I asked. I wasn't supposed to care. I did. We sat in silence for a while. Then I asked the only question that mattered. What now? She handed me a flash drive. This has everything. Names, dates, evidence. Enough to bury the program if you survive long enough to use it. And you. She looked out the window. They'll come for me either way. But you still have a chance. I looked at the flash drive, then at her. I didn't know what to believe anymore. But I knew one thing. I couldn't go back to my old life. There was no old life anymore. So I left. I never saw her again. I sent the drive to a journalist I trusted. Then I disappeared. New name. New place. I don't use credit cards. I don't go online. I don't make friends. Sometimes I still wonder if she made it out. If she meant it. If anything was real. But every now and then I'll get a letter. No return address. Just one sentence. Still watching. Still protecting. And I think maybe she did love me. In her own twisted way.